They're both in their 20s with just under 2 years' service as police officers. But Jacob Slewinski and Luke McCaffrey know what it's like to be seriously assaulted after an incident in a family home quickly spiralled out of control.
The dad's trying to gouge my eye out with his thumb. Then at that point, I've seen someone go behind Luke and get him in a rear chokehold, hold him there for God knows how long. It felt like an eternity. And then I've just seen Luke drop to the floor. At that point, fearing the absolute worst, I thought Luke had died.
I just remember sort of staring at the back of the door and thinking, I remember being choked as a kid, like messing around with friends and stuff, and I'm trying to remember what the outcome was. And then the next thing, I'm waking up in the corner of this random bedroom, and initially when I woke up, I thought I was at home. I thought I was, back at home. It took me a couple of seconds to realise actually I'm still in this person's house. I could still see Jacob struggling on the bed.
Put your heads down.
Honest to God, yeah. Coronavirus. Got it, mate.
Right, okay.
Across West and South Yorkshire, police forces have seen an increase in assaults on officers, most notably during recent weeks where lockdown has been eased. It's a worrying trend, says South Yorkshire's Police and Crime Commissioner, Dr Alan Billings.
I think we've become a more angry society. The domestic abuse incidents have risen, but also these quite gratuitous attacks on officers, and not just police officers. We've seen it with the ambulance service and with the fire service as well. Something like a 44% actually increase in attacks on emergency workers altogether.
The organisation that represents frontline police officers is logging more and more assaults every day. It says the courts need to do more.
We've seen a lot of these assaulted officers fast-tracked through the courts, but are the sentences tough enough?
We heard of earlier in lockdown somebody who actually spat and coughed at one of our police officers in South Yorkshire, and the sentence they received was actually a curfew, and that was during the lockdown period. What does that send out as a deterrent and a message? Basically receiving a sentence that will have no effect on their lives whatsoever during that period. That was an astonishingly poor sentence given out, in my view.
The government is considering doubling the length of sentences for assaults on emergency workers. Meanwhile, police officers on the front line carry on facing the prospect of violence every day.
There are points where you do feel scared at work. You've always got that anxiety about you because you don't know what you're walking into. It could be the most standard job that you go into, however, it could just blow up out of nowhere.
Ian White, BBC Look North.